Hey guys, what's going on? WhiteFox1225 for another video. Today we're going to talk about No Man's Sky. So, No Man's Sky is a game I covered like about, I don't know, 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 even, when it was first announced. We had a limited amount of information on it, but I made a video telling you guys about, the general idea of the game. But now that all the years have gone by, we have a lot more news. It still is in development, still no release date or anything like that. But we have a lot more information on how the game works and everything, so I'll go over that in this video. So you could call No Man's Sky like a first-person adventure survival game. It really fits a bunch of categories, but really it's pretty unique, and I don't think we've seen a game quite like it ever before. So it's being made by Hello Games. I believe this is their first game. Actually, kind of a funny thing, they're gonna be on like Steve Colbert's talk show, I think next week or something. So that's kind of a cool thing to look out for. But really the main point of the game is just to explore, and I'm gonna be going over all the mechanics and how the game works and stuff like that in this video. But yeah, you're pretty much really just exploring, but obviously with that exploration comes some combat and some customization and stuff like that, so we're going to be going over that. So first off, like I said, you're exploring a galaxy, you have a spaceship, and you can explore 18 quintillion planets. Now, I'm not a math dude, but 18 quintillion is a lot. Definitely will never be able to get to every single planet in this game, which I think is kind of the point. There's pretty much endless exploration, but yeah, they said there's about 18 quintillion planets. They are randomly generated, but it has a really cool system for randomly generating stuff that I'll talk about a little later in the video. But each planet is unique. You're not going to see the same one twice or something that looks generic and similar. They're really unique. They have their own life forms, their own plant forms, and really the point of the game is to discover different life forms and different plant forms and stuff like that. But the planets have like actual ecosystems, and it's a functioning universe. Each planet's gonna have a different look. In terms of how the planet looks and how much life is on it, it has to do with the distance to that universe's sun. So each one really is part of a living universe. It's not like they just randomly generated a planet and just put it there. The randomly generated system, it takes into effect like stuff like sunlight and all that kind of stuff, water sources. It really is a true universe that you're exploring, which is a really cool system, and I think it probably took them a really long time to make. But anyway guys, like I said, you're just going to be exploring in this game, and through exploring you're going to gain information about the planets that you can submit to this universal database called the Atlas, and you can share that with other players in the game. And through doing that, you're going to get rewarded. So you're going to get blueprints for new ships. You're going to, through exploring different planets, you're going to gain new materials. And all that equipment and stuff can be used to get new starships that can get you deeper into the galaxy so you can explore more planets. So kind of like exploring leads to more exploring. But as you go through the game, you're going to progress and get more powerful, get better ships and stuff like that. So real kind of like MMO progression, where you're just going to get stronger and stronger the more you play and the better you do. So like I said, you're going to go deep into the galaxy, and kind of they said the untold goal of the game, because it is open world, is just to get to the middle of the galaxy. They said the worlds get stranger and more exotic as you go deeper, so it seems like there is going to be kind of a push to get to the center of the universe, which is cool, because obviously we're all going to want to get to the really cool stuff in the game, and if that's in the middle, that's where we're all going to try to go. But as you explore, and obviously you take these resources, and with exploring you're probably gonna have to kill some aggressive monsters or animals or life forms or whatever. You are gonna get a wanted level from these things called the Sentinels. So they're basically like drones that will come at you. So as you take resources from planets and you kill their life forms, these Sentinels, you're gonna get like a wanted level, like Grand Theft Auto basically, and these Sentinels are gonna come and hunt you, and you can fight back. Obviously, that combat might look like space combat. We saw some stuff in like a spacecraft. It's pretty bare bones, the combat, but there is some combat in space, and there's also gonna be combat with your multi-tool. Now, your multi-tool is a tool that you can use to scan the planet to find life forms and materials. You can also use it to mine and collect resources, and you can also use it as a gun to fire at these Sentinels or life forms on these planets or whatever you want. So there will be combat in the game, but the combat's not really the point. The point is to explore, and through exploring you're probably going to end up in some combat situations. But you're also going to have a jetpack that you can use to do jetpack stuff and blast around and all that kind of cool stuff. In space, there will also be these factions that are fighting. Some of them, obviously they're fighting for power, and you can interact with them. You could choose to ignore them. You could fight with a faction, fight against all the factions. and how you treat them is gonna affect, you know, how they treat you the next time they encounter you. So you can make an enemy of everyone, or you can kind of, you know, be isolated and not attack anyone. So it's really up to you, and there definitely seems to be a lot of, you know, different ways to play the game that are gonna lead to different stuff, which is always a cool thing. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is that you are in a shared universe, so I want to talk about kind of like the social stuff with this, you know, MMO, if that's what you want to call it. It's kind of like borderline MMO, but you're in a shared universe with other people, so your actions do affect what other people will see and stuff. So if you wipe out a species on a planet, no one will ever see that species again. It's gone from the game forever. You know, you can also, you know, send, you know, coordinates of a planet to another friend so they could come with you and explore that planet too. You can play the game offline, you don't have to play with anyone else if you don't want to, but you still will be connected to other people's worlds, so their actions will still affect you. So again, I'll use the example, if you're playing offline and, you know, someone kills a certain species of animal, you will never see that species of animal. And like I said, you're also going to be, you know, putting your discoveries of like the life forms and the plants into that database which other players can look at and stuff. So it's really cool how we're all in the same universe, and like I said, you know, our actions affect each other. So it's not like you're playing a single player game, or you're in an MMO that's instance. It's really like we're all in a universe, and our actions do actually matter, which is something that's always cool in an MMO, something we always look for, which is really nice. Now, last quick thing is that there is going to be a post-rock ambient soundtrack to the game. Just thought I'd throw that in there real quick. So in terms of how the game's going to be released, it's going to be released on PC, PS4, and it's going to be released simultaneously, so at the same time. It does not look like it's coming to the Xbox or the Xbox One, so sorry if you're an Xbox fan, but for us PC players and PS4 players, that's pretty cool. There is absolutely no release date so far. It still seems to be in development. It does look like it came a lot farther than it has. If you want my speculation, I'd say maybe a 2016 release date. At the longest, I'd say probably 2017, but it does look to be a really massive game, so, you know, it makes sense why it's taking them so long. But that pretty much does it for the video, guys. Make sure you guys keep your eyes peeled because we got a lot more coming. If you guys want to subscribe to my Instagram and Twitter, you can do that in the description below. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you want to see more, as always, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.